The business landscape is evolving, and the global Islamic economy is transitioning towards decentralization. To succeed, we must adapt and change. Change for a better future for all. Join us at the World Islamic Economic Forum in Jakarta from 2nd to 4th August 2016. Decentralizing growth, empowering future business.
Welcome to our co-hosts, Her Excellency the Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Chairman of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, and ministers to the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. We would like to kindly invite their excellencies. Please take your seats on stage. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, announcing the arrival of heads of state and heads of government of the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the universe. May peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and upon his family and esteemed companions. Your Excellencies, heads of state and heads of government of the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum and spouses, heads of institution of the Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, ministers from Indonesia and friendly countries, Chairman of WIEF Foundation, President of IDB, honorable delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. Allow us to extend our warmest and heartiest welcome to Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, the melting pot of the nation, the center of business activities. Welcome to the plenary hall of the Jakarta Convention Center, to the opening ceremony of the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum 2016, which draws the theme, Decentralizing Growth, Empowering Future Business. To start this auspicious occasion, and to glorify the great names of Allah, let us listen to the recitation of the verses of the Holy Al-Quran, Surah Al-Hujurat, verses 10 until 13. Qori Ustad Zainal Abidin, champion at the International Musabaqah Tilawatil Quran 2016 in Turkey.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. صدق الله العظيم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Ladies and gentlemen, opening remarks by Chairman of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, the Honorable Tun Musa Hitam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. His Excellency Pak Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, the Honorable Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia, His Excellency President of the Islamic Development Bank, Excellencies, Presidents, Prime Ministers, Ministers, members of the IAP, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. As Chairman of the WIEF, let me begin by welcoming and thanking you all for your presence at this 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. We are particularly delighted to return to this dynamic city of Jakarta for the second time, more so with Indonesia starting to embark on an ambitious national development strategy that seems to attract the attention of investors both domestically and internationally. The theme selected for this WIEF is decentralizing growth, empowering future business. While implementing growth strategies, many developing countries tend to concentrate on specific urban centers, taking advantage of already existing infrastructure that facilitates obvious attractions for investments. By so doing, some negative implications become obvious. One is rural-urban migration, which results in a very rapid growth of the urban population. This, in turn, results in tremendous pressure on all fronts, leading to breakdowns of existing physical and social infrastructure. Rural areas are thus deprived of sharing opportunities for economic advancement. This obviously is not desirable in any regime wishing to develop for the good of its peoples. Empowering future business simply gives recognition to all business sectors, private or public, big or small, and even micro, small, and medium enterprises. Here in Indonesia, the nearly 60 million MSMEs serve as the backbone of its economy, contributing hugely to both employment and the GDP. It is with these in mind that the third day of the forum is dedicated to explore ways to improve business operations, financial access, and technological options, with particular attention to MSMEs. The three-day forum program is to ensure that all participants could take advantage of the vast opportunities available and to reap the benefits that Indonesia has to offer. As we all know, Indonesia is the 10th largest economy, besides being the biggest Muslim population in the world. But while I stoke the attractions of Indonesia, Indonesia as well would be able to tap on the vast resources and expertise of participants from more than 100 countries gathered here today at this forum. This year's forum continues to cater to specialized needs of the different sectors of the business community. The focus here is on infrastructure, halal tourism, micro and SMEs, modest fashion, and Islamic finance. We have specially designed networking sessions to connect and discover new business prospects that are not previously available or even thought of. In doing so, we are mindful to create as many touch points as possible. On the marketplace of creative arts, or Mocha Fest, let me say that Mocha Fest is more than just an art festival. And by the way, do drop by to watch the performances during these coming few days. Its connectivity with and potential for business is something that is well accepted, as in the case of country profiling and tourism promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always pleaded that the business of the WIEF is business. So, at this 12th WIEF, let us give full attention and focus on real, practical, positive, constructive, and win-win collaboration. That is what we in the WIEF is dedicated to. And with their full understanding and participation, we will certainly continue to be relevant in the international stage, inshallah. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, let me finally thank you, Mr. President, your government, your Ministry of Finance, and all officials that have all given their full support and generosity all along, from the beginning we planned this conference until today. To the Honorable Dato Sri Najib, Prime Minister of Malaysia, thank you for your continuing support that has made WIEF the popular and meaningful world business organization that it is. And, ladies and gentlemen, certainly not to forget His Excellencies, the Presidents and Prime Ministers and Ministers present, coming from far and wide, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your indulgence this morning, and let me wish you all a successful conference. Thank you.
Remarks by Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Mrs. Sri Mulyani Indrawati.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang terhormat Bapak Presiden Republik Indonesia, Bapak Joko Widodo, His Excellencies Prime Minister, President, fellow ministers, His Excellency Dr. Ahmad Muhammad Ali, President of the Islamic Development Bank, and Tun Musa Hitam, Chairman of World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation. Distinguished guests and honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise be to Allah, the Almighty, and the most gracious and most merciful. Peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companion, and followers. After 7 years, the World Islamic Economic Forum is once again held here in a home country of the largest Muslim population in the world, inhabited by more than 250 million people, with around 45 million people under the consuming class category. In fact, approximately 50% of Indonesian population is categorized as productive age of under 30 years old. The World Bank report elucidate that this favorable demographic profile of Indonesia could serve as one of the powerful drivers of sustainable growth. With big middle income class and educated workforce, World Islamic Economic Forum is timely in putting Indonesia as an enormous potential key players in the Islamic economic sectors, including Islamic finance, halal businesses, as well as fashion and creative industries. Excellency, business leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the WIEF 2016 features decentralizing growth and empowering future business that underline the important role of small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, in stimulating economic growth, which from my point of view brings about big aspiration going forward in 3 important steps. First, emphasizing the importance of engagement and cooperation between government and businesses. In that regard, we should place high expectation on the engagement of leaders and high-level government delegates, policymakers, and market leaders with especially small and medium enterprises, startup players, and inventors. Through this, we hope decentralizing growth will provide more opportunity for SMEs to be in the driver's seats of economic growth. It is always a very important player in creating jobs, and especially important cushion when economies facing a huge shock. This 12th World Islamic Economic Forum is expected to not only bring this engagement, but also creatively include cultural exchange, with Dato' Musaita mentioned earlier, like the Mocha Fest, which will provide a stage and opportunity to motivate younger generation to start doing business. The second step is on the need for the governments and businesses to nurture innovation. Nowadays, we found that community-driven businesses supported by digital technology development are increasingly prevalent across our economies. Innovation creates values and definitely can lower costs. IdeaPath is an example on how we can facilitate new ideas available in the communities to become commercially feasible concept, where startup business players meet investors. The third step is the need to transform all this into a concrete action. It is cultivating the basic principle that policy, strategy, and fruitful discussion will only benefit everyone if all is transformed into profitable enterprises. This is where business networking or masterclass workshop came into to encourage people to meet, negotiate businesses, as well as create opportunity and share experience so that they could be empowered and eventually contribute more to the real economic activity. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation to all leaders, distinguished delegates for participating in this 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. Finally, it is truly an honor for me personally and for all of us to extend our request to His Excellency Bapak Presiden Joko Widodo to grace us with his willingness to officially open this forum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grace all of us with his blessing and guidance during this important meeting. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, keynote address by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Indonesia, followed by the striking of the gong, marking the official opening of the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to His Excellency Mr. Joko Widodo.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa habibina wa syafi'ina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'du. His Excellency Prime Minister of Malaysia, also patron of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, Dato Sri Najib Razak, His Excellency President of Republic of Guinea, President Alpha Conde, His Excellency Prime Minister of Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Prime Minister Ranil Srian Wickremesinghe, Singha, His Excellency President of the Republic of Tajikistan, President Emomali Rahmon, His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Jordan, Mr. Jawad Al-Anani, His Excellency President of the Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Ahmad Mohammed Ali, His Excellency Tun Musa Hitam, the Chairman of the WIEF Foundation, dear Excellencies and distinguished guests. Welcome to Jakarta for the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. We are pleased that after London in 2013, Dubai in 2014, and Kuala Lumpur in 2015, the World Islamic Economic Forum has come to Jakarta. Jakarta is vibrant metropolis. While you are here, please take some time to enjoy Jakarta's world-class culinary, golf, spa, and shopping. I hope you don't mind my praising Jakarta, because I was governor of Jakarta until 2 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, 2016 is shaping up to be another challenging year. 8 years after the global financial crisis, the world economy remains sluggish. Global trade is at its weakest since the Second World War. Last year, global export declined by 14% compared to the year before. Out of around $10 trillion of government bond outstanding in the world, around two-thirds now carry interest rates below zero. We are seeing terror attacks, big and small, around the world. Arguably, the politics in many regions of the world are the most unpredictable since the beginning of this century. Ladies and gentlemen, in global conditions such as this, we, the Muslim societies around the world, must make use of our fundamental strength. Muslim societies have the best demographic of any religious group in the world, with the highest proportion of young people. The median age of Muslims worldwide is 23 years old, while the median age of non-Muslims around the world is 30 years old. Sharia finance is now multi-trillion dollar global industry. Islamic flavors in fashion, in culinary, and in art and architecture are growing rapidly and have huge potential to create a world new economy. But we must admit, we the Muslim societies also face huge challenges. In many of our communities, we suffer from high unemployment, especially among our young people. In many societies, we are pushed to decide, unable to integrate well with others. We are not yet as powerful in media, in social media, in technology. Therefore, we are not winning the battle for perception. And if we do not educate our people, if we do not train our people, the world will leave us behind. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in an age of unprecedented innovation. Robotics, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, 3D printing. Yet, at the same time, we know live in an age of unprecedented instability. There is unprecedented income inequality. We are seeing security threat all around the world. The world economy is soft and economic recovery is fragile. I believe we must admit innovation creates winners and losers. And as the innovation gets bigger, we will create bigger and bigger winners. And if we are not careful, also bigger and bigger losers. We need to be careful of innovation for the sake of innovation. We need to be careful of innovation which is motivated mostly by greed. We must ensure that innovation really contributes to the welfare of the people. The welfare of the people will not go up automatically just because there is innovation. Innovation will make certain people extremely rich, but only government can make sure that the benefits of innovation are shared fairly also to the poor. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no shortcut. There is no magic bullet. We must undertake the difficult work, the complex work of building industries that create jobs, of building systems to educate our children, to train our young in the skill and in the attitude which are required in the 21st century. For those of us who still carry among us packet of poverty, we must solve the basic problem of electricity, of clean water, of transportation. We must make sure that our people can live in places that are clean, that are safe. We must make sure that food is available and affordable. And perhaps more important, yet also the most difficult, we must build a culture that is open, a culture where we do not only tolerate our differences, but give genuine respect to our differences. How can all this be done? The answer is simple: step by step and one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure your discussions in Jakarta this week will make a very meaningful contribution toward our goal of creating prosperous and just Muslim societies around the world. I hereby wish you a fruitful conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please accompany His Excellency the President of the Republic of Indonesia for the striking of the gong. Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Sri Mulyani Indrawati, and Chairman of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, the Honorable Tun Musa Hitam. The 12th World Islamic Economic Forum 2016 is officially opened.
Indonesia's future rests on the shoulders of its young generation. They are our hope to bring forth progress for the betterment of our world and propel Indonesia to a brighter future. BNE Sharia officially began operations on 19th June 2010. Since 2010, we have won numerous accolades and awards as an acknowledgement of our achievements. BNE Sharia's belief in professional and ethical service is further consolidated by our Declaration of Hasanah on 28th February 2014. BNE Sharia will constantly strive to ensure our robust growth by building on our competencies and carrying out innovation. Hasanah makes BNE Sharia the Sharia Bank of choice. BNE Sharia memberikan yang terbaik sesuai kaidah.
Bank Syariah Mandiri began its operation on November 1st, 1999, providing an alternative banking services in Indonesia by presenting the harmony of business ideals with religious values. As a pioneer in providing modern Islamic banking services in Indonesia, Bank Syariah Mandiri always consistently implements Sharia universal values. Bank Syariah Mandiri is a subsidiary of Bank Mandiri, a state-owned bank and the biggest commercial bank in Indonesia. Bank Syariah Mandiri continues to improve the service quality by constantly expanding its service network, such as its outlets, ATMs, payment and electronic networks. Bank Syariah Mandiri's performance continues to improve. Asset, financing, third-party funds. Bank Syariah Mandiri has invested in Indonesia government project financing, Sukuk. Bank Syariah Mandiri, the leading and modern Sharia bank.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite His Excellency Dato Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia and patron of the WIEF Foundation, to deliver a special address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wa bihi nasta'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Yang mulia Bapak Presiden Joko Widodo, Presiden Republik of Indonesia, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Yang amat berbahagia Tun Musa Hitam, Chairman World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to be in Jakarta for this 12th World Islamic Economic Forum, and I am delighted to see so many distinguished guests and leaders here with us today. I wish to thank, in particular, His Excellency President Joko Widodo, thank you, Bapak President, and the Government of the Republic of Indonesia for hosting this forum and for Indonesia's continuing support of the WIEF. And we're all delighted to be here, and I'd like to recognize the very strong contingent from Malaysia who are here at this conference. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is an economic forum, but let me make one related point first. Without political stability, without peace and security, there can be no economic progress. And there has been far too much turmoil in the Muslim world in recent years. The invasion of Iraq in particular set in motion a disastrous chain of events, chaos, destruction, and a possible breakup of nation-states are specters that have been visited on countries such as Iraq, Syria, and Libya. The so-called Arab Spring yielded a harvest of instability across the region. Thousands have paid with their lives, while terrorists and other armed militias now roam freely over once secured lands. A Pandora's box of sectarian conflict has been unleashed. Foreign interventions in Muslim countries have led to intended and unintended consequences which are still being felt today. By comparison, majority Muslim countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia, which have not been subject to foreign intervention, are an oasis of peace and stability. This is why the leaders here today must work to solve our problems and issues together. Have always been a proponent of openness to the world and collaboration. But we must insist on respect for our own sovereignty, respect for our own laws, and respect for our own democratically elected governments. For we have seen the devastating results of foreign intervention in the Muslim world, often based on incomplete, wrong, or partisan information. We must make clear that we reject it, and we reject those who, out of political motivation, call for foreign powers to intervene in their own country. We as the Ummah, we must take responsibility for ourselves, and we pray for guidance to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of WIEF this year, decentralizing growth, empowering future business, is certainly apt, considering the multiple political, economic, and security challenges the world faces today, including new developments such as the British referendum to leave the European Union. While it is not for us to comment on the internal political matters of other nations, and of course we must respect the will of the British people, there is broad agreement that the UK's decision to leave the EU is likely to have a knock-on effect on Europe and the global economy. Many members of the EU have yet to fully recover from the 2008 global economic crisis. Now there are new uncertainties they must be prepared to adapt to. However, there are causes for optimism. According to recent reports, the world's Muslim economy grew at almost double the global rate in 2014-2015, and Muslim consumer spending is set to reach $2.6 trillion in 2020. And taking ASEAN as a whole, GDP growth was robust at 4.5% last year. In fact, despite the prevailing global uncertainty, it is even expected to grow marginally higher in 2016. Why is the European scenario so different from that of ASEAN and the global Muslim economy? There are several reasons for this. Firstly, the pace of recovery in Europe since 2008 has been sluggish, and the Eurozone GDP is still below its pre-crisis rate. The euro weakened when the European Central Bank pressed ahead with quantitative easing to create more money after introducing negative interest rates in June 2014. Secondly, in contrast, ASEAN's economic growth has been rapid and stable since 2000. It recorded a combined GDP of $2.6 trillion in 2015, making it collectively the seventh largest economy in the world. The region has become a major global hub for manufacturing and trade, and it's also one of the fastest growing consumer markets in the world. And thirdly, the global Islamic economy is thriving. More Muslims are becoming increasingly active as investors, manufacturers, bankers, traders, competitors, and suppliers. Muslim consumer spending is also rising as demand increases for ethical finance, investment, and insurance services, halal food, modest fashion, and halal tourism. Even non-Muslims are attracted to the Islamic economy's underlying socially conscious ethos. There is an opening here for dialogue with the West, which longs in some sectors for a more just and compassionate economy of its own. I'm glad to say that in Malaysia, since 2009, we have created 1.8 million jobs, increased GNI by nearly 50%, kept inflation low, and boosted FDI to record levels. Our national transformation programs have helped Malaysia remain resilient during the global financial turmoil, and we continue to record good economic growth despite the steep drops in the prices of oil and commodities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is true that the Muslim world has some very serious issues to address. Education, poverty, barriers to female participation in the workforce remain challenges in many OIC member states, and too low a percentage of GDP is spent on research and development. All this despite the fact that collectively the OIC holds 70% of the world's energy resources and 40% of global natural resources. We also face the scourge of Daesh, the terrorists who blaspheme our religion by falsely claiming the mantle of an Islamic state. There's nothing Islamic about a group that practices such barbarities, and it is crucial that Muslim majority countries take the lead in condemning them. We must fight their lies with the truth about Islam. We must oppose them with all our might, their attempts to indoctrinate our young people and take advantage of those on the margin who have lost their way. We must ensure that appropriate legislation is in place to let our security and police forces take all measures necessary to stop attacks before they take place and to root out those who would spread fear and chaos in our lands. Malaysia stands firmly against Daesh and their accomplices, both at home and abroad. This is why we have set up a regional digital counter-messaging communication center just outside Kuala Lumpur. It is soon to be operational, and we will gladly share our expertise in preventing radicalization and helping to de-radicalize men and women who have fallen for the deceits of this wicked and un-Islamic group. We will be steadfast in this fight, for it concerns us all. But ladies and gentlemen, while it is right that we should recognize the challenges that face the Ummah, we should also reflect on our achievements. Islamic finance, for instance, is rapidly gaining traction, not just in Muslim-majority countries, but also in international financial centers such as London and Hong Kong. Increasing numbers of people are recognizing that it can be a model for socially responsible and sustainable investment and a more secure way of supporting the world's financial system. Malaysia's $418 billion Islamic capital market has more than tripled in size over the last 10 years, and it is strengthening its status as a premier destination for Sharia-compliant businesses and transactions. Malaysia has continued to be the global leader in the sukuk market, commanding 54.3% of the global sukuk outstanding at the end of 2015, while total assets under our management of our Islamic fund management industry remains the world's second largest. Going forward, we have identified Islamic wealth management as a new growth area, and we look forward to opportunities to collaborate with other jurisdictions as well as industry and academia to expand international connectivity, strengthen talent capabilities, and grow the global Islamic capital market for the benefit of all. Ladies and gentlemen, while we acknowledge the issues we must address, I believe it is also important to state clearly that this gathering and the discussions you are going to have represent a true face of the Muslim world, for authentic Islam means moderate Islam. I am also happy to see that the 12th WIEF is going to focus on vital topics relating to sukuk, infrastructure development, halal industries, female empowerment, and disruptive technology, to name a few. We must encourage more merit-based economic opportunities in the Muslim world. We seek a world that includes all our citizens and shares the proceeds of growth with all. One that educates all our children, one that supports all our entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized businesses, one that prizes knowledge and innovation, and one that appreciates that our diversity is also our joy and our strength. As it says in the Quran, and which was recited just now, O mankind, we have made you into nations and tribes that you may know each other. With that, I wish this forum every success, and I'm sure that you are all going to have a productive and enjoyable 3 days. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Address by President of the Republic of Tajikistan. We kindly invite His Excellency, Mr. Emomali Rahman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Muhtaram Rais, Oli Janobon, Rohbaron و اعضای هیئت‌ها، حاضرین گرامی، نخست میnnatdاری صمیمی خود را به سازماندهندگان چهاربینی امروزه من جمله حکومت‌های اندونزیا و مالایزیا برای مهمان نوازی و فراهم آوردن شرایط مساعد کاری بیان می‌نمایم. ما فروم عمومی جهانی اقتصادی اسلامی را صحنه مهم برای محاکمه سازنده جنبه‌های مختلف روند رشد و دیگر مسائل مبرم اقتصادی و اجتماعی جهانی معاصر می‌دانیم. جهان امروزه زود تغییر یابنده است. بر اثر چالش‌های نوی جهانی و افزایش عامل‌های زیادی سیاسی و اقتصادی و اجتماعی، ثبات بازارهای تمام منطقه‌های عالم خللدار گشته، سرعت رشد اقتصادیات پس شده ایستاده است. سطح تأثیر روندهای نااستواری نرخ‌ها در بازارهای جهانی، تغییریابی اقلیم، آفت‌های طبیعی و تکنوگینی، پهن‌شوی بیماری‌های گوناگون سرایتی رو به افزایش نهاده بر رشد منبعی کشورها تأثیر بی‌واسطه می‌رساند. معلوم است که پیشبرد روندهای سازنده تنها در شرایط ثبات و امنیت پایدار امکان پذیر است. متاسفانه امروز جهان معاصر را موج بی‌سابقه تروریسم، افراطگرایی خطرزا و نزاع‌های اتنیکی و مذهبی فرا گرفته است. عامل‌های مذکور ثبات سیاسی منطقه‌های مختلف عالم را جداً نااستوار گردانیده، بحران‌های اجتماعی و عاقبت‌های اقتصادی منفی دراز مدت را به بار آوردند. امروز ما شاهد آن هستیم که میلیون‌ها نفران بهر دریافت حیات آسایشته و ثبات اجباراً گریزه و مهاجر شدند. چنین وضع حساس ما را وادار می‌نماید که پیگیرانه در جستجوی تشبس‌های تازه و راه‌های مؤثر استقرار ثبات فراگیر و به این منظور تأمین رشد اقتصادی و اجتماعی کشورهای ما باشد. وظیفه عمومی ماست که زمینه و مکانیزم‌های نوی همکاری‌های ثمربخش جوابگو به منفعت و آرمان‌های مردمانمان را پیدا نموده تطبیق آنها را برآمانیم. از این نگاه مسائلی که بر روزنامه جلسه 12 فورم در موضوع غیر مرکزانیدن رشد و تقویت منبع صاحبکاری وارد گردیدند برای اکثر کشورهای جهان اسلام اهمیت کلیدی دارند. مساعدت به همگرایی بیشتر، وسیع، فعال گردانیدن دستگیری همدیگر، تحکیم همکاری‌های متقابلاً سودمند، توسعه تجارت و سرمایه‌گذاری از جمله سمت‌های میباشند که برای ما باید در سطح هدف‌های استراتژی قرار گیرند. حکومت تاجیکستان تأمین پیشرفت ساحه صاحبکاری را یکی از سمت‌های افضل‌الناک سیاست اقتصادی خود معین نموده است. همزمان با این جهت فراهم آوردن محیط مساعد سرمایه‌گذاری نیز تمام چاره‌ها اندیشیده می‌شود. در کشور ما برای دستگیری صاحبکاران تأمین شرایط مساعد تشکل ساحه یک سلسله اصلاحات سودمند جهت ساده گردانیدن رسمیاتی وابسته به فعالیت صاحبکاری انجام داده شدند. شروع از سال 2014 ما 14 اکتبر را همچون روز صاحبکار جشن میگیریم و در این زمینه همه ساله همایش و فورم های صاحبکاران را با جلب دایره های صاحبکاران خارجی، تشکیلات های بین المللی، نهادهای با نفوذ مالیوی جهانی، اینچنین کشورهای شریک خود برگزار می نماییم. حکومت جمهوری تاجیکستان از حساب بودجه دولتی فاند دستگیری صاحبکاری را تأسیس داده. صاحبکاری استحصالی را همه جانبه هوسمند می گرداند. محض نتیجه تدبیرهای در سمت بهسازی محیط صاحبکاری و سرمایه‌گذاری عمل گردیده بود که تاجیکستان طی سالهای آخر 3 مرتبه به قطار 10 کشور اصلاحاتگر پیشرفت وارد گردید. عین حال در کشور شرایط آزاد رقابت فراهم آورده شده است و از لحاظ حمایت حقوق بین شخصانی حقوق واقعی داخلی و خارجی یگان فرقیت جدی وجود ندارد. در چنین شرایط تاجیکستان پیوسته کوشش به خرج می‌دهد که رابطه‌های اقتصادی و تجارتی خود را با همه مملکت‌های دوست و شریکان رشد همچنین سازمان‌ها و مؤسسه‌های منطقوی و بین‌المللی تقویت بخشیده پیش برد. در چارچوب این تلاش‌ها ما همکاری زیست را با بانک اسلامی رشد، کورپوراسیون اسلامی رشد بخش خصوصی، سازمان اسلامی تجارت و برنامه مخصوص کمک برای مانده ایم. طی سالهای همیاری با گروه بانک اسلامی رشد در کشور ما زیاده از 55 لایحه مختلف در ساحه زیرساختاری، نقلیات، انرژتیکا، معارف و تندرستی، کشاورزی، همچنین رشد صاحبکاری خرد و میانه عملی شدند. با ابراز منتداری برای چنین دستگیری میخواستم توجه حاضری را به 2 نقطه از نگاه ما مهم جلب نمایم. یکم، امروز وقتی آن رسیده است که وابسته به شرایط معاصر مکانیزم ها و شرط و قاعده های همکاری مؤسسه و بنیادهای مالیوی اسلامی با کشورهایی که در مرحله رشد خود قرار دارند بازنگری کرده شوند. تقاضای زمان است که پروسیدورهای بانک و بنیادها با نظر داشت ضرورت وسیع گردانیدن امکانیت‌های جدا نمودن مبلغ‌های گرانتی و پس کردن اندازه فایزهای قرض‌های پیشنهاد شونده ساده گردانیده شود. دوم، در مرحله کنونی ما شاهد سطح گوناگون رشد کشورهای عالم اسلام میباشیم و ضرور است که سر این موضوع جداً فکر کنیم. با عقیده ما با مقصد برآمدهای بحرانی گلوبالی و چالش‌های دیگر زمان معاصر تا باورگردانیدن کشورهای مسلمانی در مرحله رشد قرار داشته، بخصوص مملکت‌های محصور با خشکی، تأسیس یک بانک یا بنیاد مخصوص گردانیده شده اسلامی برای دستگیری مالیوی آنها ضرور است. در عمله رفع رشد نابرار نقش کشورهای پیشرفته جهان اسلام که تجربه و امکانیت‌های فراخ مالیوی و سرمایه‌گذاری دارند میتواند مؤثر باشد. باور دارم که این عملیه به حل و فصل مسائل عمده رشد که در نزد ما ایستادند همچنین به یگانگی و متحدی امت اسلامی به خاطر تأمین صلح و ثبات جداً مساعدت خواهد کرد. دیگر از مسائل عمده که اکثر کشورهای مسلمانی را به اضطراب آورده است این پس کردن سطح کمبزاعتی و بیکاری می باشد. به این منظور در تاجیکستان استراتژی بلند برداشتن سطح نیکوحوالی مردم و در این ردیف کاهش دادن سطح کمبزاعتی ثمره بخش تطبیق گردید. در نتیجه سطح کمبزاعتی تا 30% در نهایت سال 2015 پس کرده شد و این در حال می باشد که نشان دهنده مذکور قبل از آغاز تطبیق استراتژی داخلدار در سطح بیش از 80% قرار داشت. فعلا ما استراتژی ملی و برنامه میان مولتی رشد کشور را مطابقاً برای دوره تا سال 2030 و سالهای 2016 2020 تهیه نموده مورد تطبیق قرار دادیم. همه برنامه‌های ما عهده‌داری‌های بین‌المللی کشور را از روی هدف‌های رشد استوار که در جلسه 72 اسامبله ژنرالی سازمان ملل متحد ماه سپتامبر سال 2015 قبول شدن به نوبت می‌گیرند. ضمناً مسائل حفظ اجتماعی اهالی، تأمین استقلالیت انرژتیکی و امنیت آذوقه‌واری هدف‌های محوری برنامه‌های رشد ما را تشکیل می‌دهند. با استفاده از فرصت مناسب می‌خواهم توجه شما را حاضرین گرامی و چندی از سمت‌های مهم همکاری جلب نمایم. پوشیده نیست که تمایل گلوبالی تشکل اقتصاد سبز و در این زمینه رو آوردن با منبع‌های برقرار شونده و از لحاظ اکولوژی تازه تولید نیروی برق از قبیل گیدروانرژیتیک یکی از خصوصیت‌های دورانی معاصر میباشد. در قلمرو تاجیکستان که 93% مساحتش را کوه‌های دارای هزارها پیریخ تشکیل می‌دهند، در حدود 60% ذخیره‌های آبی منطقه آسیای مرکزی تشکل می‌یابند. زیاده از 1,500 دریاهای گوناگون مقیاس که از پیریخ‌های ما سرچشمه می‌گیرند، منبع بزرگ آب آشامیدنی و استحصال نیروی برق میباشند. اقتدارهای هنوز استفاده نشده گیدروانرژیتیک تاجیکستان امکان استحصال سالانه تا 527 میلیارد کیلووات ساعت نیروی برق را دارند. با کار انداختن این اقتدارها میتواند احتیاجات روزافزون بازار انرژتیکی منطقوی را با نیروی برقی از لحاظ اکولوژی تازه تامین نموده بر رشد منبع همسایه‌های دور و نزدیک ما مساعدت نماید. در این زمینه ما با گسترش ساحه گیدروانرژیتیک توسط بنیاد انشاءات گیدروانرژیتیکی، نیروگاه‌های برقی آبی و خطهای انتقال برق دارای اهمیت منطقوی توجه خاص ظاهر می‌نماییم. چندی پیش در کشور ما مراسم آغاز تطبیق لایحه منطقوی بنیاد خط انتقال برق کسا صورت گرفت. لایحه مذکور که در همدستی با جمهوری قرقیزستان، جمهوری اسلامی افغانستان، پاکستان و چندی از شریکان رشد ما عملی می شود، رمز شروع همکاری های واقعی بین کشورهای منطقه فراخ آسیای مرکزی و جنوبی می باشد. رشد زیرساختار نقلیاتی و ترانزیتی سمت دیگری همکاری آینده دار و از لحاظ سرمایه‌گذاری فایده آور می باشد. مقصد از تطبیق لایحه‌های ما در این جهت رشد انفراستراکچور کمیونیکاسیونی منطقوی برای پیوست شدن با بندرهای اقیانوس هند و آرام می باشد. تاجیکستان اینچنین برای سرمایه‌گذاری در کارکرد معدن‌های کوهی امکانات‌های خیلی وسیع دارد. در کشور ما زیاده از 600 کان ذخیره‌های طبیعی معدنی و غیر معدنی معین و کشف و برای از خود نمودن آماده کرده شدند. از این جمله قریب 100 کان که در آنها تقریباً 40 نمودی و معدن استخراج می‌گردد استفاده می‌شوند. ما همه نوع‌های سنگ و متال‌های قیمت‌بها و اشیاء خام ضروری را داریم. استخراج و کارکرد آنها نیز عرصه همکاری سودآوری اقتصادی است. با این معنا امکانات اگراری تاجیکستان و ساحه توریسم آن را نیز قید کردن می‌خواهم. کشور ما دارای اقلیمی مناسب برای وسیع برآمدن باغ و تاک‌پروری و استحصال میوه و سبزیجات از لحاظ اکولوژی تازه همچنین دیگر نمودهای محصولات کشاورزی میباشد. ساحه صنعت سبک و خوراکواری از جمله کارکرد پخته، میوه و سبزیجات، خشک میوه و برآمدن صادرات آنها میتواند سمت همکاری بخش خصوصی شود. در تاجیکستان عین حال برنامه استراتژی رشد انفراستراکچور توریسم و خدمت رسانی سیاحی مورد تطبیق قرار دارد. در کشور ما برای رشد الپینیسم، توریسم کوهی، اکولوژی، سالم گردانی، بهداشت و استراحت در کوهسار اقتدار کافی موجود است که برای صاحبکاران دولت‌های اسلامی خیلی جالبند. قابل قید است که عین حال در تاجیکستان 4 منطقه آزاد اقتصادی تأسیس داده شده است. در این منطقه برای فعالیت وسیع اقتصادی، مالیوی، تجارتی و اطلاعاتی، خدمت رسانی و غیره شرایط سازگار و امتیازی تامین شده است. ما آماده ایم که برای اشتراک وسیع صاحبکاران خارجی در فعالیت این منطقه تمام شرایط مناسب را فراهم آوریم. ضمناً از نیت‌های نیک شرکت و صاحبکاران کشورهای اسلامی جهت اشتراک در این عملیه همه‌جانبه استقبال می‌نماییم. حاضرین گرامی، جمهوری تاجیکستان جانبدار همشریکی زیچ با کل کشورهای جهان از جمله عالم اسلام بوده، خواهان همکاری‌های وسیع و واقعی با آنها در همه عرصه‌های ذکر کرده میباشد. با این منظور در فرجام سخن خود با کار 12مین فورم عمومی جهانی اقتصادی اسلامی برای کامیابی آرزو می نمایم اظهار امیدواری می نمایم که نتیجه های آن باز یک عامل مؤثر تقویت بیشتر بخشیدن با همکاری های متقابلا سودمند اقتصادی و اجتماعی کشورهای ما خواهند شد. خانه آباد و پیروز باشید. برای دقتتان یک جان تشکر میگویم.
Address by President of the Republic of Guinea. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Professor Alpha Chand.
Monsieur le Président de l'Indonésie, Monsieur le Président du Tadjikistan, Monsieur le Premier ministre de la Malaisie, parrain de la Fondation du Forum économique islamique mondial, Monsieur le Premier ministre du Sri Lanka, Mesdames, Messieurs les représentants spéciaux des chefs d'État et de gouvernement, Monsieur le Président du Forum économique islamique mondial, Monsieur le Président de la Banque islamique de développement, Mesdames, Messieurs distingués participants, Assalamu alaikum. Je voudrais d'abord remercier les autorités de la République d'Indonésie pour l'accueil chaleureux et fraternel réservé à moi-même et à tous les membres de ma délégation depuis notre arrivée dans ce beau pays, berceau de la solidarité afro-asiatique depuis la conférence de Bandung de 1955. Je voudrais également remercier la Fondation du Forum économique islamique mondial pour l'honneur et le privilège fait à mon pays en l'invitant aux travaux de la présente session. Le thème choisi du forum, décentraliser la croissance et valoriser les entreprises du futur, est des plus appropriés à ce moment clé de l'histoire de l'humanité qui entame sa 4e révolution industrielle. J'aime à dire que l'Afrique a raté les 3 premières révolutions industrielles, mais une chance nous est offerte avec la 4e révolution industrielle basée sur des technologies de l'information qui peut non seulement nous permettre de rattraper notre retard, mais également d'apprendre des erreurs des pays avancés. Pour cela, plusieurs conditions s'imposent, telles l'accès à l'énergie, des infrastructures adéquates et une population formée, particulièrement aux nouvelles technologies. Mesdames, Messieurs, distingués invités, pour réussir dans l'entreprise de croissance durable et inclusive et prendre part à la 4e révolution industrielle que nous ambitionnons, il est impérieux de favoriser l'intégration régionale et régionale tout en misant sur nos avantages compétitifs. À l'instar d'autres pays de l'Afrique et du monde musulman, mon pays, la Guinée, a un potentiel énorme qui n'est jusqu'à présent pas réalisé. La Guinée est le château de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et est souvent considérée comme un scandale géologique et agricole. La nature est généreuse, avec des immenses ressources minières, un milieu naturel propice à l'agriculture, avec plus de 6 millions d'hectares de terres arables et un important potentiel hydraulique de 6 000 MW. Le pays renferme aussi la plus grande réserve de bauxite au monde, le minerai de fer le plus riche au monde qui peut être exploité pendant 100 ans, et d'autres métaux précieux. C'est dans cette perspective que la Guinée a engagé de profondes réformes institutionnelles et organisationnelles depuis l'organisation de la première élection libre et démocratique en 2010. Nous avons depuis révisé nos politiques pour améliorer le climat des affaires à travers un nouveau code des investissements et nos codes miniers, renforcer le cadre juridique et légal pour attirer et sécuriser les investisseurs et entreprendre un vaste chantier de réforme et de modernisation de l'administration publique. La construction et la mise officielle du barrage de Kaleta de 240 MW, le débarrage des travaux du barrage de Swapiti de 400 MW et de Kogon de 100 MW et d'autres aménagements hydrauliques sur le territoire national feront de la Guinée un pays exploitateur d'énergie. D'autre part, le retour progressif des cadres de la diaspora va permettre de répondre aux problèmes des ressources humaines. Aussi, nos actions de réforme ont pour objectif de favoriser des investissements majeurs, générateurs d'emplois et de richesses intérieures, en vue de la transformation de notre potentiel en croissance économique et permettre au plus grand nombre de bénéficier des fruits de cette croissance que nous souhaitons forte, durable et inclusive. Pour décentraliser la croissance, la Guinée s'attelle à promouvoir une exploitation stratégique du potentiel minier agricole pour en faire un levier d'exportation, transformation et développement des autres secteurs dans le respect des normes environnementales et dans la préservation des intérêts des populations locales. Une politique agricole reposant sur la sécurité alimentaire et la promotion des filières prioritaires d'exportation. Une exploitation optimale du potentiel d'énergie hydraulique pour consacrer durablement un mix énergétique à composantes renouvelables majeures et un rang nouveau des pays exportateurs d'énergie. L'aménagement dynamique des réseaux nationaux et sous-régionaux d'infrastructures terrestres, aériennes, maritimes et fluviales. L'accélération de la mise en place d'une économie numérique. La transformation industrielle artisanale sur des bases compétitives et créatrices d'emplois. La mise en valeur accrue du secteur des activités et des services. Mesdames, Messieurs, le Forum islamique mondial est un cadre qui nous permettra de trouver, certes ensemble, des solutions innovantes à la plupart des défis auxquels nous faisons face. Nous accordons un intérêt particulier au thème de ce forum qui permettra à la Guinée et à d'autres pays de bénéficier de l'expérience des acteurs publics privés, de la société civile et d'experts de la Oumma islamique dans l'amélioration constante de la politique publique. Les possibilités de croissance économique, de réduction de la pauvreté et du développement humain sont énormes en Afrique. Je souhaite et je reste convaincu que ce forum est un outil d'intégration pour l'économie mondiale dans l'intérêt de tous. La Guinée s'emploiera à tirer le meilleur profit de ce cadre de dialogue, tout en bénéficiant des appuis extérieurs soutenus des pays musulmans et de tous nos partenaires dans la formulation et l'amélioration de sa politique de développement. Il s'agit pour nous de trouver des idées novatrices et des projets qui s'inspireront de ce qui se fait le mieux aujourd'hui dans le monde pour prendre part à la 4e révolution industrielle et connaître une croissance durable et cultive. Je vous remercie. Wassalam.
Continuing with the following address, Prime Minister of the People's Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Your Excellency, President Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellency Dato Najib Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Your Excellency President Professor Alpha Gonde, President of Guinea, Your Excellency President Emomali Rahman, President of Tajikistan, Your Excellency Dr. Jawad Al-Anani, Deputy Prime Minister of Jordan, Honorable Tuan Musa Hitam, Chairman of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, distinguished delegates and friends, Salam Alaikum. Let me thank you at the outset for inviting me to this, the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum in the dynamic city of Jakarta. I must here express my gratitude to the government of Indonesia for the courtesies extended to the Sri Lankan delegation that is attending this conference. This forum takes place at a pivotal time for the global economy, which is still 8 years after the event, coming to terms with the aftershocks of the global economic crisis of 2008. The Islamic nations of the world have, by and large, weathered this economic storm far better than other countries. being blessed with a vast array of natural resources that have been judiciously harnessed to bring rapid economic and social progress to our societies. The Islamic crescent of nations, stretching from Africa to Southeast Asia, has seen progress and prosperity for several decades. I come here from a multi-religious, multi-ethnic island nation of Sri Lanka, where there has been coexistence and intermingling of the various sects and segments of religions of Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam for many centuries. What brought together this rich and diverse mixture of faiths? It was trade, the historical process whereby communities and nations established bonds and augmented their collective prosperity. Thus we saw the early Arabic traders dominating trade across the Silk Route and traversing the cusp of the Indian Ocean until around the 16th century, when Western European merchants started competing with them for a share of the burgeoning East-West trading relationship. Similarly, an earlier historical development saw how the flow of goods overland and through the sea routes scalloping between China, India, and Europe spread the teachings of the Buddha from Myanmar and the Srivijaya Empire to the furthest extremes of Northeast Asia. We can easily summarize that the spread of Buddhist and Islam religions across Asia, carried largely by traders and merchants, added significantly to the widespread practice of tolerance, compassion, charity, and interconnectedness among religions and societies and cultures in this vast region. Coming to the present times, we are witnessing momentous changes in the core structure of the global economy, brought about by the relentless winds of globalization and the current manifestation of Western neoliberalism. These changes will take years, if not decades, to fully manifest their impact. While the Western nations will continue to dominate global trade and capital flows for many years to come, the persistent stagnation in real middle-class incomes in these developed nations looks set to persevere. Yet the wholly dynamic of East-West trade will become more complex as cheaper, younger, and productive workers proliferate across the emerging markets and turn into significant consumers of the goods and services that they produce. Sitting astride the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans and Central Asia, Islamic societies will be able to reap the advantages of rapidly growing populations connected to the largest emerging consumer markets on earth, in China, India, and Africa. There will, of course, be innumerable challenges and opportunities thrown at us. By harnessing the latest developments in science and technology and coupling these with the solid foundations laid by vigorous trading relations among our societies over several millennia, I am confident that good policies and strong leadership will be able to resolve these contemporary challenges. For instance, our youth have rising aspirations that continually challenge us in government to deliver productive environment, to enhance livelihoods, and bring them on par with developed societies. Digital literacy is the key to providing viable options to fulfill their dreams and ambitions. But alongside these challenges, there are also many opportunities. The most obvious opportunity staring at us in the face is the removal of the historical barriers to trade, which have impeded the growth of commerce between Africa, the Middle East, and South and Southeast Asia. We must not forget that a key driver of growth for the entire Asian region will be the expansion of intra-Asian trade in the coming century. And I see significant advances in the liberalization of intra-Asian trade barriers in the coming decade. This will be primarily as a response to a slowing demand for Asian exports in the West. But more importantly, it will also reflect the strong growth of individual consumer incomes throughout Asia. Today, with a population of 1.7 billion and an impressive growth rate that the World Bank calls the highest in the world, South Asia is very much the place to be in. While maximizing on the opportunities presented by Western economic policies, we also need to learn from our own cultures of Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. For instance, there is much that secular states can learn from the principles of Islamic commercial law, in particular the notion of fair industrial relations, the notion of fair contract, the notion of commercial integrity, and the notion of freedom from usury. After all, the bulk of the monsoon trade depended on the sharing of profit and losses, not on the charging of interest. My country, Sri Lanka, pioneered economic liberalization in South Asia in the 1970s. Even at present, Sri Lanka enjoys the highest ranking for economic freedoms in the region. Today, the national government consists of the country's two major political parties, headed by His Excellency President Maithripala Sirisena, is introducing the politics of convergence to consolidate democracy. This political initiative will bring about political stability and a bipartisan agreement to formulate a stable economic and political framework, an urgent need given decades of highly partisan and parochial politics. In this background, economic reforms in Sri Lanka received a fresh impetus. Sri Lanka has long been acknowledged as having the potential to become a geo-economic center in the Indian Ocean. With this mind, we are implementing the next round of macroeconomic structural reforms in conjunction with the ambitious program of infrastructure development. Since the forum focuses on infrastructure development, let me elaborate that. Firstly, the Kandy-Colombo-Hambantota corridor. This corridor consists of a series of major infrastructure development projects. The Kandy City Expansion Program, the Northwest Industrial and Tourism Development Program will be the dynamo for employment and growth. The Western Megapolis Plan, which is designed to urbanize the entire Western province, will make it environmentally conscious, sustainable megacity of the 21st century with a population of 8.5 million. The Southern Tourism Infrastructure Development Program, centering on the historic city of Galle. The Hambantota Economic Development Program, which will bring industrialization to the southern territories and enhance its tourist potential. Incidentally, Hambantota in the southern tip of the island is the historical port to which sampans arrived from the states of Java and Malaya. Today, the Chinese government is cooperating with us in this development. Furthermore, 269 hectares is currently being reclaimed from the sea to become a financial city. This will provide a base for logistical and financial services in South Asia and will complement the chain of business hubs from Hong Kong to Singapore to Dubai. These initiatives will be supported by two international airports in Mattala Hambantota and Katunayaka Colombo, and two harbors in Colombo and Hambantota. Finally, the government has also signed an agreement with Sabana Jurong Private Limited of Singapore to prepare a master plan for the Trincomalee Economic Development Project on the East Coast. Moving on to trade front, we are currently navigating the trade liberalization through a mixture of initiatives. We have undertaken several bilateral trade enhancement initiatives, which will accelerate Sri Lanka's access to the world's major markets. This is expected to reap maximum benefits, taking into account existing global policy constraints. The government of India and Sri Lanka will finalize the Economic Technology Cooperation Agreement by the end of the year. The ETCA will enhance the scope of our existing Economic Partnership Agreement to extend to freer movement of goods and services with added emphasis of cooperation in the development of technology. We are also taking other trade liberalization measures, such as negotiating with the EU for the reinstatement of the special concessions afforded to Sri Lanka products in the single market, the GSP+, finalizing a free trade agreement with China in 2017. This will connect us to the One Belt, One Road initiative. Negotiating a free trade agreement with Singapore, which we plan to conclude very soon. establishing close economic cooperation with Japan, expanding the existing trade treaties with our neighbors in South Asia. And we are also looking to explore other trade agreements with other Bay of Bengal nations, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Myanmar, and also with West Asia. As far as the United States and the United Kingdom is concerned, we can only tell next year. I would like to conclude by proposing to you a vision of convergence for our future, a convergence of our heritages from our historic trading past, the multiple forces of globalization and secular Western economic models, our own religious ethics and practices, and the challenges and opportunities of present times that are inextricably interwoven with the future of Islamic and secular societies worldwide. It's only through engaging dialogue and accepting the convergence of these systems and cultures that we can enrich our own nations in a time when social inequities and inequalities of the market economies as well as religious extremism have come to the forefront. I wish this forum all success in its deliberations. Thank you.
Address by His Excellency Dr. Jawad Al-Anani, Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs and Minister of Industry, Trade and Supply, and Special Representative of His Majesty King Abdullah II of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan.
Rahman Rahim, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, Your Excellency President Joko Widodo, Your Excellency Prime Minister Sri Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Your Excellency Chairman of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation, Excellencies, Honorable Gentlemen and Ladies, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me begin by conveying to you all the greetings and warm wishes of His Majesty King Abdullah II Ibn al-Hussein. His Majesty is keenly interested in the topics of the agenda of this distinguished August gathering and wishes this forum great success. I am honored to deliver, on behalf of His Majesty, the speech to the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. But first, I would like to thank the people and government of Indonesia for their warm hospitality. It is a pleasure to be here today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we meet in the impressive city of Jakarta, the capital of the most populated Muslim country, we are grateful to the Prime Minister of Malaysia as patron of the World Islamic Economic Forum Foundation and the government of Indonesia for hosting the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum. The theme, decentralizing growth, empowering future business, is important and urgent as we grapple with our economic woes and challenges. With decentralization of growth, seeking to empower MSMEs by facilitating larger participation in the mainstream economy, targeting in particular young entrepreneurs, it not only ensures inclusive economic development and innovation and improves efficiency, but it steers youth away from the destructive radicalization towards productive and creative lives. As we empower youth with the tools for innovation and release their energies in producing better futures, we protect them against the ideologies of hate. Radicalization may thrive on poverty and alienation, but this is not exclusive to remote, underdeveloped areas. People in overcrowded urban centers, especially megacities, are also at risk of being exposed to extremist ideologies. Therefore, our war on extremism and terrorism must be bolstered by the empowerment of the marginalized, the poor, and the unemployed across our society and most importantly, by the empowerment of our young majority. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Muslim economies must capitalize on the integrity and ingenuity and energy of our young entrepreneurs through turning creative ideas into successful businesses. It is especially important that micro-enterprises mature into medium and large enterprises to generate employment opportunities and growth. A successful realization of the cycle turns the demographic challenge of our young majority into a unique growth opportunity. It is dependent on our ability to provide for our SMEs' financial needs. This remains one of the most binding constraints they face. And while the Islamic financial ecosystem has flourished over the past years, many Islamic financial institutions remain flush with liquidity that can be utilized to fulfill these needs. It is important to ensure that our Islamic financial intermediaries are able to nurture their economies with productive liquidity to unleash development, including access to Sharia-compliant products that especially target entrepreneurs and MSMEs. We should efficiently utilize our assets, human and financial, to focus development and wealth formation more towards the well-being of our broader societies. And as we celebrate our successful young entrepreneurs as role models in our communities, we must equally acknowledge the courage of those who try and fail and encourage their persistence towards success. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, central governments alone cannot withstand the challenges of growing populations. The private sector and civil society institutions are called upon to join the efforts of full-fledged partners to invoke both equitable and sustainable growth that encompasses all people in all regions. Providing for the development and empowerment of local communities in the periphery, as well as heavily populated urban centers, can be strengthened by adequate structures of decentralization that promote community growth and support local businesses and entrepreneurships. This is why Jordan has embarked on an ambitious decentralization process that will give citizens a larger role in building their own future. This will lead to greater efficiency in managing local budgets and setting developmental priorities. It allows communities to become owners of their own development and their success. This is much that we can learn from each other, and I hope that a network can be created to foster such cooperation for the benefit of our countries and communities. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, finally, one cannot overstate the importance of protecting our youth from the scourge of those that commit murder in the name of God and Islam. The savagery and terror committed by the outlaws of Islam, or the Khawarij of our time in Syria, Iraq, Libya, Africa, Asia, Europe, and America, and across the globe, goes beyond the economic conditions facing citizens, and it goes beyond the challenges of poverty or unemployment. This is also the ideological war within Islam, and it requires us to protect the true values of our religion, values of peace and moderation, values of love and respect for humanity against the evil that seeks to destroy them. This is a war we have to fight together as Muslims, and one we have to fight together with the rest of the world. In closing, I would like again to thank the government of Malaysia and Indonesia and everyone involved in convening this meeting and providing the platform for this valuable exchange of thoughts. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Addressed by Her Excellency Mrs. Maite Nokana Mashabani, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation and Special Representative of His Excellency President Jacob Zuma of the Republic of South Africa.
Your Excellencies, Baba Joko Widodo, the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Patron of the WIEF Foundation, His Excellency Datuk Seri Mohammed Tun Abdul Razak, the Prime Minister of my second home, Malaysia, the Chairman of WIEF Foundation, Honorable Tun Musa Hitam. I can also say that I came to see my relatives here and that's why I'm here. The Chairman of the Indonesian National Organization Committee, distinguished heads of states present here and government, and honorable ministers, distinguished panelists and guests, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know whether it's still Salamat. It's Salamat now? The tongue. I'm humbled to address you on this auspicious occasion of the 12th World Islamic Forum under the theme Decentralizing Growth, Empowering the Future. Permit me to start by extending our warm message of fond greetings and friendship from His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, who could not join us today due to local government or municipality elections taking place in our country, South Africa. The President has, however, expressed his gratitude to the leadership of WIEF for inviting South Africa to participate in this important forum. South Africa is a home of Muslims, Christians, and all who live in our country. And they have found this as their home, particularly the people of Malay origin, since time immemorial, when they were brought or came in through our colonizers. The theme for this occasion is fitting, considering the continued sluggish global economic growth that we have all decried. The far-reaching impact of the global economic downturn enjoins us to seek alternative mechanisms to stimulate economic growth in order to achieve shared prosperity. We therefore need to be responsive to global economic trends and leverage the opportunities presented by the new growth poles, both in Africa and Asia, the Middle East, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the WIEF's broader objective of building bridges through business remains important in the current economic climate. The time has come that we don't look for solutions for our challenges from somewhere, because the lesson learned from all the speakers this morning is that you cannot also hand over your own children to someone else to raise them, because when you come back home, they will be looking different and acting differently. This forum's endeavors to promote business and economic collaboration between our continents complement the efforts of other platforms such as Asia Business Forum, and the WIEF's focus on development of small, medium enterprises is a further appreciation of the role of the sector that it continues to play in bridging the gap between the rich and the poor in the community, in our communities. In fact, historically, in almost all our countries, the SMEs contribute the best and the most in job provisions in all our economies and remained resilient in the wake of global economic recession. According to the World Economic Forum, SMEs account for approximately 80% of employment in our mother continent, Africa. This bodes well with the increased demand for goods and services which provide impetus for economic transformation and diversification. The other sad story about my continent, Africa, is that we still have 60% of arable land that's fertile, that's untouched, but we are the net importers of food or agricultural products. So the partnership we can forge through WIEF can go a long way that we become self-sufficient. We're also conscious, ladies and gentlemen, that the Asian continent attaches great importance to the role of SMEs in growing their economies. To this end, the Asia Development Bank is leading efforts to create new growth economic model which will increase the role of SMEs in bolstering national economies in the region. Similarly, the African Development Bank provides funding and technical assistance to SMEs in the African continent. This is done through Bank's Fund for African Private Sector assistance, which seeks to support, among others, emerging entrepreneurs. By this, we are referring largely to our youth, who shouldn't necessarily be acquiring a higher education to become job seekers, but to become creators of wealth themselves through entrepreneurship. Despite these initiatives and the potential for SMEs in both continents, challenges to access sufficient funding limit emerging businesses to realize their full potential. In this context, the WIEF provides a platform for us to entrench our collaboration and further explore new areas of cooperation, and also to learn from each other. We therefore continue with our collective efforts aimed at addressing common economic and social challenges. At the continental level, we have adopted Africa's development path, which is encapsulated in what used to be referred to as the African Union Vision, which has become the Africa Agenda 2063. We believe that our forebears from 1963 worked very hard to decolonize Africa, and that Africa now is fully decolonized. We are now focusing that by 2063, Africa should be fully developmental, peaceful, at peace with itself, and also with its neighborhood and all the other friendly nations, and contributing positively to economic growth globally. We aspire to address the historic challenges of a resource-rich continent that it is inhabited by a majority of a poor populace. We encourage all our partners to assist us in building a prosperous continent who is driven by its own citizenry. The AU resolved, or the African Union, to focus on harnessing the continent's demographic dividends, particularly leveraging on the opportunities presented by the increased youth bulge, as well as the role of women who happen to make the majority of the African population. More than 52% of our continent, including in my own country, are women. So even when we look for voters who vote correctly, we look at women, because they're not only good campaigners, but they go to vote. They stand in queues early hours of the morning, they vote, they raise children, they contribute to food production, they actually bring life to this earth. This thematic area received global attention of the African leadership, which will be in the summit of 2017 in January. I can confirm that the narrative of Africa that is rising remains true and relevant. We continue to take bold steps towards the revitalization of our continent. In this regard, we have also made a commitment to focus our energies and deploy our limited resources towards unlocking Africa's ocean economy. And I can readily confirm, that South Africa will participate in the Blue Economy Summit that is forthcoming. Ladies and gentlemen, these continental aspirations are in line with our national efforts aimed at improving the living conditions of all South Africans. Our country's National Development Plan, Vision or Agenda 2030, it's a developmental blueprint which we aspire to address the triple challenges of poverty, which always bears a feminine face, unemployment, which largely now affects our youth, and inequality that was brought by colonization. We also are glad that our Agenda 2063 is also aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. Our endeavors to build a resilient economy that will enable us to address these domestic imperatives can only come to fruition with the support of our partners. Our government is currently implementing the big, fast results model, which we learned from our Malaysian partners. We believe that this will propel us towards realizing our national development agenda and trajectory. We are confident that this forum's deliberations will take us a step forward in pursuit of our common destiny. Our shared future and prosperity can only be realized through collective actions. I had the honor to accompany our Deputy President last year when we came here to celebrate Bandung, because our relationship with this country, Indonesia, and this region come a long way, as I've said earlier on. Our forebears have worked very, very hard, have sacrificed life and limb for us to be decolonized. It is our time now to make sure that we release the potential of all our people. Allow me to conclude by thanking our hosts, the government, and the people of Indonesia, in particular, His Excellency Baba, President, with whom we share a long history of solidarity and friendship. Our participation in this August forum is a true testimony of our collective resolve to closer cooperation and partnership. Terima kasih banyak.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, address by His Excellency Sheikh Ahmed bin Jassim Al Thani, Minister of Economy and Commerce and Special Representative of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani of the State of Qatar.
الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. His Excellency Joko Widodo, President of Republic of Indonesia, His Honorable Dato Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia and Patron of the World Islamic Economic Forum, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me convey the best sentiment of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar, on this gathering. Furthermore, His Highness have conveyed his sincere aspiration for the success of this forum. We are pleased to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to the government and the people of Republic of Indonesia for the warm welcome we have received since our arrival to this beautiful city of Jakarta and for organizing this event. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this forum is for vital important to the world economies. I believe it is a platform that provides substantial potential for promoting the scope of cooperation and collaboration in various fields between Islamic countries and Islamic countries as well as others. In particular, we must make more effort to expand on a trade volume beyond the existing level, as well as encouraging diversification by giving priority to investment in area and opportunity that constitute quality addition to our economies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the economic diversification strategy, which has been adapted by the State of Qatar for many years in line with Qatar National Vision 2030, has contributed significantly in sustaining vital economic sector, with the private sector being at the lead. Qatar has introduced appropriate laws and legislation to facilitate the process of doing business in the state of Qatar. In addition, Qatar has provided an attractive investment environment for various economic projects. In conjunction with this development, Qatar has managed to maintain a steady base of economic growth. Its gross domestic product (GDP) saw a 3.7% growth rate in 2015, outpacing the global GDP growth, which stood at 3.3% last year. In addition, Qatar economy has also succeeded in enhancing its international competitiveness, as reflected in a key global indicator. According to the Global Competitiveness Report, the state of Qatar occupied first position in the MENA region and 14th position globally on the Global Competitiveness Index. This is a testament to the confidence and stability enjoyed by the Qatari economy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for us to recognize the global economic environment we currently live in. A major macroeconomic changes are affecting prospects in various countries and region. These include changing policies in some countries by shifting away from an investment to a consumer-led growth strategy. The impact of low oil price on emerging market, continuing economy weakness in advanced economy, a slowdown in investment and trade, and decline capital flow to emerging market and developing economies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere hope that within this setting and during this forum, which is under the theme of decentralized growth, strengthening the future of business, we are able to find a common solution to the challenges we jointly face, and in particular to exploit the high potential effort by businesses and investment opportunity, including public-private partnership in a strategic project to encourage the private sector to play a more active role in our economy and bring prosperity to our people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the following address, allow us to remind the remaining speakers to allocate the time limitation of 5 minutes due to time constraint. 5 minutes or less would be better. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite His Excellency Mr. Okna Datuk Otsman Hassan, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Secretary of State, Ministry of Labor and Vocational Training and Special Representative of His Excellency Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Karena masa pendek, saya akan pendekkan. My respect, His Excellency Bapak Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister of Malaysia and Patron of WIEF Foundation, His Excellency Tun Musa Hitam, Chairman of the WIEF Foundation, Excellency President, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Today, I have a great honor to join and give speech on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia in Jakarta, Indonesia, Forum of the auspicious 12th World Islamic Economic Forum that has brilliant tradition in giving the opportunity to every personnel and participate at a high level and cutting edge forum, obtain first-hand industry knowledge and to discuss with international and inter-industrial college on the changes dynamic in the global business today. Last year, the Deputy Prime Minister of Cambodia, Her Excellency Dr. Mein Som-on, a highest representative of Samdech Akek Mahasenapati Techo Hun Sen, Prime Minister of Kingdom of Cambodia, appreciate highly to successful WIEF Phnom Penh Roundtable 2015, which is very helpful in promoting Cambodia on business and investment in international scene. In earlier June, year 2016, the 25th World Economic Forum in Malaysia was successfully conducted by giving the good experiences and learning from all ASEAN countries, leading to increase the mutual business and investment. And I hope that strongly that the 26th World Economic Forum, which will be hosted by Cambodia in year 2017, will also provide more opportunity for the young entrepreneur in taking part of developing their own country in field of business vocational training. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Cambodia have renovated its own economy from the empty hand after the complete destruction of the unmerciful regime of Cambodia democracy until today speedily growth of economy. It is from the great effort of the Royal Government of Cambodia, which Samdech Akek Mahasenapadai Techo Hun Sen, Prime Minister of Kingdom of Cambodia, guaranteed peace, security, and public honor, has created favorable conducting for socio-economic development. People is peaceful life. Process of democratic development, respect of human rights, freedom, and rule of law are on the right track. Every state institution fulfill their role and duties according to law with the efficiency and responsibility. Every state reform front have continued make fruitful achievement. Along with these, political parties are conducting active political action toward the fourth term election of communal council. As for economic sector, in 2016, the country will be able to realize a growth around 7.1%. Inflation will stay below 1.9%. Wealth rate will improve because of speedy export compared to import. Foreign exchange reserves have increased to roughly 5,450 million US dollar, which could sustain import up to 4-5 months and prevent negative impact from external crises. Simultaneously, use of local goods have surged thanks to local and foreign direct investment, which create jobs and income for our people. Nak pendek pun tak boleh pendek tu. In actual term, average income per person have reached 1,215 US in 2015. It would continue to reach to 1,003 US in 2016. And a few months earlier of this year, 2016, Cambodia economic activities sustained growth led by service industry and construction sector. Particularly, public financial management continue to increase efficiently only owing to the fact that collection of income from sources has augmented procedure of expense implementation have strengthened. In labor, in the first 3 months of the year, Cambodia have created 27,921 jobs in the country and for those who travel to work abroad. Worker is minimum wage in government and apparel have gone from 128 US to 140 US. Well, mechanism to discuss about wage for 2017 is underway. Overall movement of reform in every sector is underway in a correct direction and providing fruitful result, improving people is livelihood. Finally, I hope that WIEF will continue strengthening the good collaboration with relevant institutions of all ASEAN countries and all the countries in the world in looking for the mutual investment opportunity. I would wish His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, with good health, longevity, and success. Thank you and terima kasih banyak.
Thank you. Now, His Excellency, Engineer Kuram Dastirkan, Minister of Commerce and Special Representative of His Excellency Prime Minister Mian Muhammad Nawaz Sharif of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, will deliver his address. 5 minutes or less.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. His Excellency President of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency the Prime Minister of Malaysia and the Patron-in-Chief of this forum, heads of states, presidents, prime ministers, fellow ministers, ambassadors, diplomats, business leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It is a singular honor for me to address the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum, and I deeply appreciate the WIEF Foundation for organizing this essential event and thank warmly the government and the people of the Republic of Indonesia for their traditional earnest hospitality. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, Muslim countries are endowed with abundant natural and human resources. Our strategic locations add further significance to our respective geo-economic positions. Through concrete partnerships, we can create prosperity for the entire Muslim Ummah, particularly for the millions of underprivileged poor in our midst. Together we can scale new heights. This will, however, require intellectual as well as political leadership. Let us join hands for deeper trade liberalization among ourselves and for more extensive technical and knowledge collaboration in other fields of the economy, particularly agriculture. Excellencies, Pakistan is committed to strengthening intra-OIC economic and trade cooperation to further the cause of economic integration of Muslim states, leading to the establishment of an Islamic common market. OIC countries already account for 40% of Pakistan's global exports and 56% of Pakistan's global imports. The trade preferential system among the member states, the TPS-OIC, is one of the most important projects of the organization to foster intra-OIC trade. Pakistan has signed and ratified all 3 agreements pertaining to TPS-OIC and has already submitted the concession list to OIC Secretariat. Pakistan has also been pursuing trade partnerships with OIC member countries through PTAs, FTAs, and various other bilateral arrangements. Pakistan has, in addition, signed and ratified the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, which reflects our commitment to a transparent, simple, deregulated, and private sector-driven business environment. Excellencies, in Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's leadership, Pakistan has overcome violent insurgency and energy shortages to become identified this year as one of the top 10 next emerging markets in the world, offering immense opportunities for investment, growth, and trade. Today's Pakistan offers 4 good news. First, public finances have stabilized, tax revenues, foreign exchange reserves, foreign remittances, and stock exchange index are all at record high. The stock exchange's recent classification as one of the emerging markets has energized our financial sector. Pakistan's economy is poised for vigorous growth. 2, Pakistan today is peaceful from the tribal areas in the north down to the bustling southern port of Karachi. We have won this peace after the greatest sacrifice by tens of thousands of our citizens, police and army personnel across the country. 3, Pakistan is getting reconnected to the world through roads, sea and air infrastructure. A significant portion of the $46 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor will drastically improve road connectivity with neighboring countries, and while the seaport of Gwadar is heading towards a world port status by connecting Central Asia to the Arabian Sea and beyond. 4, Pakistan has taken a decisive step towards energy security through regional energy connectivity as well as judicial fuel mix that includes substantive portions of renewable energy. We will by 2018 have abundant capacity to fuel economic growth and large-scale economic investment. Excellencies, Pakistan is one of the most liberal foreign direct investment regimes in the region as well as among Muslim states. Prime Minister Sharif's government is embarked upon accelerated economic development through liberal trade and investment policies. We are determined to make Pakistan a knowledge-based economy through necessary institutional and structural reforms. In recent years, Pakistan has made good strides in facilitating cross-border trade with neighboring markets through greater regional connectivity linking Pakistan with China, Central Asia, SAARC and ECO countries. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, I conclude by emphasizing the need for more frequent interaction among policymakers, academic experts, and private sector of the Muslim world. We are suffering not only from pervasive poverty of our people, but also from a poverty of ideas on how to create at the earliest an OIC common market. We also suffer from a poverty of ideas to facilitate our private sectors within OIC, behind our borders, at our borders, and beyond our borders. Pakistan offers its fullest support to initiatives for liberalization of trade, investment and services, as well as travel facilitation between Islamic countries. By freeing our trade, travel, and economic engagement, let us free the poor in our midst. To paraphrase Thomas Paine, we have it in our power to begin the Islamic world over again. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Address by His Excellency Mr. A.H.M. Mustafa Kamal, Minister of Planning and Special Representative of His Excellency Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of the People's Republic of Bangladesh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salamun ala mursaleen wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Excellency Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, the Honorable Tun Musa Hitam, the Chairman of this august organization, His Excellency the Honorable Datu Sri Najib Tun Abdurrajak, Prime Minister of Malaysia, who is also one of the patrons of this organization, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to all of you. Excellencies, I am indeed honored to represent the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. She was very keen to participate in this August gathering, but unfortunately for some unavoidable reasons, she could not make it. But however, she has wished all the success of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, you will certainly agree with us that the theme chosen for this year, for the current forum, decentralizing growth, empowering future business, is absolutely timely and it deserves genuine attention. It speaks about the crucial importance of decentralization, particularly financial and economic sectors, in fast-tracking the socio-economic development. The historic adoption of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September 2015 calls for a global partnership and coordinated approach for development. It is therefore an imperative to encourage the flourishment of micro, small and medium enterprises everywhere, because this particular segment is contributing hugely, we find, from every country's balance sheets. Even in Bangladesh, it is contributing largely, it is contributing over 32% of our GDP, and it employs over 60% of our total population. So this particular arena, I think, can contribute to every country in their economic growth and development. We in Bangladesh have been pursuing a policy of decentralization and proactive support for our private sector, so that private sector can lead us forward. And government role is very, very minimal. Government is playing a supportive role to help private sector so that they can move forward our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be happy to note that the 15th September of 2008, demolition of Lehman Brothers could no way affect our economy. Our economy has been kept immune by our Honorable Prime Minister through a proactive policy of monetary as well as fiscal policies. The policy we are pursuing, because of that, we are having a tremendous amount of growth. After that first 6 years, we had an average growth rate of about 6.3%. Last year, we achieved a growth rate of 7.05% in the GDP. Because of this overall growth in the GDP, it has helped us to lower the poverty rate. Now the hardcore poverty rate has come down to less than 10%. So it is a good news for for Bangladeshis. You see, Bangladesh, when we got our independence, we have been told by one iconic leader of America, he said, Bangladesh is the bottomless basket. And two economists, one from Norway, Mr. Parland, and another economist from UK, Mr. Parkinson, they wrote a book on Bangladesh. And in that book, they have tried to show the whole world that Bangladesh is a country, it has no future. It cannot sustain as a country and cannot move forward our economic development. The people of Bangladesh have proved everybody wrong. And you see, now 99% of our boys and girls are going to schools. We are self-sufficient in food, rather we are exporting our food grains to outside. 99% of boys and girls are going to school, as I've said, and it has also affected our other areas very positively. Almost 93%, there is a tele-density now, and over 60% of our people, they are using internet. So these are all positive sides, I must tell you, and because of that, we are moving forward. Bangladesh has an advantage, you see. 76% of our 161 million people, they are below the age of 59, between 20 and 59. So this demographic dividend is going to continue until 2038. You might be aware of the fact that Bangladesh is having good relationship with everybody, with all of our, particularly the Asian regions, with everybody. And because of that, our exports has gone up 3 times during the last 6 years. We are the only country, I think, we have the lowest debt to GDP. It is 44%, unbelievable. So because of all these things, because of all these macroeconomic areas, we are having a positive growth everywhere. Now, it has been projected. Right at the moment, we are the 32nd country in the world in terms of purchasing power parity method. If it is on current economic price, it is 44th country. Now, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Goldman Sachs, everybody has projected by the year 2041, we will be the 23rd largest economy in the world. So all these are happening because of the people of Bangladesh. They are the prime mover of our economy. They are the people that are taking all the troubles. They are very resilient. So I'm sure our future is very bright, and we will be able to give you good news in the coming future. Excellencies, you will agree with us, all of us should agree now, that today our Muslim Ummah is facing numerous challenges. And in fact, we are being attacked. We are facing a war. Under the different names, we are facing a war. It is, according to my belief, it is to undermine our greatest religion. It is to undermine us, to lower our position and standing to the people of the world. But Islam as a religion, it is a peaceful religion. It never teaches us to kill people, to create unrest anywhere. We don't believe in all these things. But now the war is there. You see, through war, you cannot buy out peace. If you are to buy out peace, you will have to bring in peace, real peace, progress, prosperity, and equitable justice. Only by having all these avenues in your hand, you can definitely become successful. So now, I will be requesting all of you, whoever are here, that we should be united in resisting all these things. We must tell the truth to everybody that we are against all these things. And also it is a fact, none of the member countries as a single member country of the Ummah can fight out all these things. So this is a time we must get ourselves united and adjust to all these things so that we can stand on our own feet and we can lead the world and we can show the world that yes, we are here and we are here to direct others and to create examples for others. I will not prolong my speech further, you see. Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, it is really encouraging to see that large number of high-profile political entities as well as private sector business personalities are here. This bears the testimony of your sincere desire to catapult business, trade, investment, cooperation among the OIC countries. In this critical juncture of global economy, we should work together, as I have said earlier, for establishing a predictable, equitable, creative, transparent, and knowledge-based business mechanism through our concerted efforts and collective approach. Bangladesh is always ready and willing to cooperate with you and to create a meaningful partnership with all of you in any of the endeavors, in any of the components, wherever you feel like we are willing to cooperate with you, sir. So I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. May Allah bless all of us. Thank you once again.
Address by His Excellency Mr. Abdes Salem Bouchuareb, Minister of Industry and Mines and Special Representative of His Excellency President Abdel Aziz Bouteflika of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه إلى يوم الدين.
فخامة رئيس جمهورية أندونيسيا السيد جوكو ويدودو، دولة الوزير الأول لماليزيا ورئيس مؤسسة المنتدى الاقتصادي الإسلامي العالمي السيد داتو سيري نجيب تون عبد الرزاق، أصحاب الفخامة، أصحاب الدولة والمعالي والسعادة، حضرات السيدات والسادة، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أما بعد، يسرني أن أتوجه مستهلا بخالص الشكر وعميق الامتنان على ما وجدناه من ترحاب حار وحفاوة استقبال بأرضكم، وما هذا بغريب عن شيم بلد كأندونيسيا. كما يشرفني أن أنقل إليكم تحية أخوكم فخامة رئيس الجمهورية الجزائرية السيد عبد العزيز بوتفليقة، الذي تربطه بالمنتدى علاقات خاصة، وتمنياته لكم بمزيد من النجاح والنماء. كما أغتنم هذه الفرصة السعيدة لأجدد لكم ارتياح الجزائر لمستوى العلاقات المتميزة التي تربطها بكل الدول الإسلامية، كما أؤكد لكم حرصنا المستمر على ضم الجهود لمواصلة ترقيتها خدمة لمصالح المشتركة لبلداننا. وإن كنت لست في حاجة إلى التذكير بالعلاقات التي تربطنا، فإنه من الضروري الاستثمار فيها لإحداث نقلة كمية ونوعية في المجال الاقتصادي بين البلدان الإسلامية، للارتقاء بها نحو شراكة حقا استراتيجية. وإني انتهز هذه السنحة ليطلعكم على أبرز المستجدات في حاضر بلد الجزائر وما نريده للمستقبل. أيها الحضور الكريم، لقد عاشت الجزائر في بداية السنة حدثا هاما تمثل في تبني دستور جديد يؤسس لمرحلة جديدة من الازدهار في كنف ديمقراطية هادئة ومستقرة. وقد ألم الدستور الجديد بكل جوانب الحياة ومنها الاقتصادي، إذ فصل نهائيا في مسألة جوهرية تتعلق بهوية الاقتصاد الوطني. فاقتصاد السوق في إطار مبادئ الاجتماعية يشكل اليوم الإطار المرجعي الذي اختارته الجزائر لنفسها والذي تسير وفقه. رؤية متجددة يرافقها جيل جديد من الإصلاحات الاقتصادية العميقة التي شرعنا فيها لبسط نموذج نمو اقتصادي جديد يهدف إلى تنويع الاقتصاد الوطني. أيها الحضور الكريم، بالرغم من الانهيار العالمي المتواصل لسنتين لأسعار المحروقات، إلا أن الجزائر اختلت نهج الحفاظ على حركية النمو التي سجلتها طيلة السنوات الأخيرة. ومن نتائج هذه الحركية سن قوانين جديدة لتطوير الاستثمار يدخل حيز التنفيذ هذه السنة، وهنا أدعوكم بإلحاح للإطلاع عليه، لأنه يضفي بحق مرونة وشفافية كبيرتين على مناخ الاستثمار، ويقوي الاستثمار بتوجيه المزايا والإعفاءات نحو المشاريع التي تدخل ضمن أولويات السياسة الاقتصادية للبلاد، لا سيما تلك الموجهة للقطاعات الخلاقة للثروة ومناصب الشغل. كما أن القانون صيغ على نحو يضمن استقراره على المدى المتوسط والبعيد، بما يرسي ثقة المستثمرين في وجهة الجزائر. في إطار نفس الإصلاحات القطاعية أعدنا النظر أيضا في قانون التقييس بفتح الإشهاد بالمطابقة على الاستثمار الخاص، ومن هنا أوجه الدعوة لمعاهدكم والمتعاملين لدخول هذا الميدان، خاصة في مجال الإشهاد للمنتوجات حلال. في هذا الباب تستلهم الجزائر نظامها التقني حلال قيد النشر من معايير معهد الدولة الإسلامية للتقييس والقياسة التابع لمنظمة المؤتمر الإسلامي. أما في مجال المالية فإن الجزائر تعد سوقا واعدة للصيرفة الإسلامية، ولا مانع في المنظور القريب يحول دون إطلاق عدد من المنتوجات المالية الإسلامية بما يساهم في جلب الكتلة النقدية المدخرة وتوطين الأموال المتداولة خارج القطاع الرسمي. أيها الحضور الكريم، إن علمنا الإسلامي يملك مقومات النمو، وهو سوق بحجم أكبر التكتلات. إننا في الجزائر نعول كثيرا على القدرة الاستثمارية للمؤسسات المشاركة، ونشدد على ضرورة تطوير العلاقات الصناعية والتجارية البينية، لأننا نؤمن بأن الإمكانات المتاحة كبيرة والفرص والمجالات لإقامة مشاريع مشتركة عديدة. وإنني نرى في توطيد العلاقات بين رجال الأعمال فرصة لإقامة مشاريع استثمارية مشتركة، ولقد أثبت المتعاملون إنه بتوفر الإرادة والإطار الملائم والثقة نستطيع بعض مشاريع هامة. وأريد لكم على سبيل المثال الإبرام مؤخرا بالجزائر على 3 عقود شراكة بين مجمعات أندونيسيا وجزائرية بقيمة 5.7 مليار دولار أمريكي لإنتاج وتحويل 10 ملايين طن من الفوسفات الجزائري في آفاق 2019. هذا مثال على شركاء من بلدين من المنتدى الإسلامي قادرين على التكامل وهما يطمحان للذهاب أبعد. في الأخير أجدد لكم ندائي للتعرف على الفرص الكبيرة التي توفرها أسواقنا والجزائر على وجه النظر بالخصوص. أشكركم على كرم الإصغاء، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
And now, last but not least, address by President of the Islamic Development Bank and Honorary Fellow of WIEF Foundation, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Mohamed Ali.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. Your Excellency Joko Widodo, President of Indonesia, Your Excellency Dato Seri Najib Tun Abdul Razak, Prime Minister Malaysia, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Heads of Governments present, Your Excellency Tun Musa Hitam, Chairman, World Islamic Economic Foundation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to address this important gathering on behalf of the Islamic Development Bank Group. I can certainly testify that WIEF has become our Ummah's thought leader that encourages and inspires entrepreneurs and business people to explore opportunities, exchange ideas, share experiences, and discuss solutions to common challenges. I am pleased to note that this year's theme of decentralizing growth, empowering future business resonates well with our new world economic order, which I define as a shift in the world's economic center of gravity away from its traditional centers. The rise of globalization and the ascent of the big multinational corporations increased income inequality and divided most developing countries into the prosperous center and the underdeveloped periphery. Although jobs for skilled workers were created and economic liberalization often generated very strong economic performance, in many cases, the fruits of growth and development remained very unevenly distributed across the country. A decentralized model of growth and development in which the local private sector and especially the SMEs are an equal partner alongside the public sector and the multinationals is a model that is more likely to be inclusive and sustainable by the virtue of its broad-based foundations. By allowing the SMEs to play a greater role in the economy, our member countries can ensure more sustainable, more inclusive, and more equitable growth. This, in turn, will require a committed journey of institutional reforms and commitment of all stakeholders in the economy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, since its establishment in 1975, the Islamic Development Bank has been deepening its efforts in providing innovative solutions to foster socio-economic development of its member countries through a variety of programs and operations. These efforts have not only improved the lives of millions of people, but also created a vital base for broad-based economic growth. As part of its interventions focused on decentralizing growth and people-centered and pro-poor economic development, the Islamic Development Bank Group has over the years launched a number of major flagship programs mentioned in the distributed versions of my statement. In the same vein, the private sector arm of the IDB Group, the Islamic Corporation for the Development of the Private Sector, ICD, launched the ICD's SMEs Finance Initiative, providing a comprehensive range of Sharia-compliant financial products and services to SMEs to meet their financial needs. The initiative focuses on a number of core issues: one, fostering enterprise development, job creation, and broad-based economic diversification; two, providing financial assistance and capacity building in investment management; three, upgrading and improving the competitiveness of value chains in which SMEs participate; and four, building entrepreneurial skills and extending a network with support institutions. Finally, Islamic finance can offer a sound framework that enhances financial inclusion and caters to broad financial needs of SMEs by first using risk-sharing financing instruments to develop microfinance for micro-enterprises and new innovative modes of financing for SMEs; and two, using Islamic solidarity-based instruments to provide better access to basic social safety nets to the most vulnerable and marginalized segments of the society. With this, I wish the forum successful deliberation. Terima kasih for your attention. وبالله التوفيق والهداية. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to make a group photo with all the leaders, ministers on stage, together with the President of IDB and also the Chairman of WIEF. Please kindly take your position at the center and please come closer, still in the arrangement of the seating arrangement. Please come closer. To all our guests, please be seated so that the journalists could take pictures. We know that the leaders are very tired, but you are kindly requested to smile. Please sit down, delegates. Finished? Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. With the end of the photo session, we have come to the end of the opening ceremony of the 12th World Islamic Economic Forum 2016. Have a fruitful and successful meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Heads of state and heads of government and spouses will now leave the plenary hall to conduct a tour around the exhibition area. along with WIEF ministers on stage, Chairman of WIEF and President of IDB. Remaining guests, please remain shortly for a while at the plenary hall. The area for the exhibition is very limited, and due to space availability, we request distinguished ladies and gentlemen to kindly wait for a second after their excellencies have proceeded to the area of the exhibition. Just in a few minutes, we would like to invite all delegates to proceed with lunch. Lunch will be provided at Hall B. You must only pass the area where their excellencies have just passed by. The stage on the left-hand side will be the area where you will proceed for lunch. Please go to the entrance of the left-hand side of the stage. Just wait for a few minutes before we invite distinguished ladies and gentlemen for lunch at Hall B. Only passing through the exit door on the left-hand side of the stage. Please go past through the exit door on the left-hand side of the stage. Proceed to Hall B for lunch. Thank you very much for your kind attention and attendance. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.